Hello and welcome or welcome back to Talking About Cross Stitch with me, the Stitching Owl. My name is Karen and I'm coming to you from London, Ontario, where the temperatures are swaying as much as a pendulum on a grandfather clock. We had temperatures as high as 8 already this week, and now we are waiting for snow, and it is getting chillier and chillier. The good news is our snowbanks have receded, so we have space to put more snow should it happen. I don't know if we'll have a white or a green Christmas. Time will tell. Now, yesterday in my Name That Tune, one of the things that happened is that a lot of people said the music was I Heard the Bells. And so what I did was I started today's video with I Heard the Bells so that you could hear that and then discover, oh, that's not what the piece was. And now I have to think, what was the piece? There we go. So I referenced that it was British and that Julie Andrews had been the one that sung it in my youth, and it was called I Saw Three Ships. So it goes, I saw three ships come sailing in, come sailing in, come sailing in. I saw three ships come sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning. So many of you knew the closing on Christmas Day in the morning, but then didn't quite know which piece to attribute it to. So I thought I would play that melody for you. Let's dive into the stitching, and we're going to talk about the Evertote Roxy Floss Co. Modern Folk Embroidery Nordic Countdown, and this is day 18 because we are on Flossmas 18. So you can see that right here this looks so much like a pattern that would be usable in cross stitch, and indeed it would. This is from a book that Jacob finds inspiring and is in a museum. And it's actually a pattern for weavers. So I'm inviting you to pop over to see what he has to say. I'm sure it will be inspirational and encouraging to each stitcher. Our color today is a color called, and Hannah knocked it out of the park with the naming, Chalk and Roll. So it almost matches my background color. It is that light neutral, but this one, it has a mushroom overtone rather than the mauve overtone from earlier days. Now let's see where it is that I stitched it. Do we have heads? Well, diamond shaped, but yes, we have. I'm just going to do this so you can see a diamond shaped head. There does seem to be a little bit of space there should we want to put hair on our cheerleader. That was put into both sides in chalk and roll, and then you were instructed to get out day 14, how do you blue, and add in this row right here. So now that makes this the stitch. Now I'm stitching with one strand of the cotton flocks on 20 count Aida that Carrie dyed, that is called Glacier. And I think this may be the bottom, which means that I've got lots of material to play with for future stitching. Now, for my Tiny Modernist, today we were stitching Frosty the Snowman, and here he is. We have a cute broom there, a little carrot nose, looks like some holly leaves on his hat, and you can see it is in the row where we have the truck and the hot chocolate. And then if I show you the entire pattern so far, this is where we are, and we have 2 spaces left on the top 3 lines and 1 space on the bottom. Indeed, that adds up to being 7 days away from Christmas. Very enjoyable. And I was commenting to one of my stitching friends yesterday that with only 13 colors, Cheryl, the tiny modernist, is able to create a cohesive piece, but each of the motifs has its own color orientation, so it's both interesting and cohesive. Now, the other day, I showed you a start that was based on a pattern up here by Beth Twist of Home String Samplery, I believe. If I don't have that name correct, it will be running across in letters. So this particular pattern is a stained glass window with the picture of 3 candles in it, and I am using a mixture of flosses from a bag of floss I was gifted at a Stitchin' at Stitch It Central. Most of them are JP Coats and Anchor, but there's some unnamed, and here is where I've gotten to. You can see the first candle is in and the next candle is started. Our stained glass is coming through, and that almost looks blue on the camera today. This is a 32 count even weave called Valor from Picture This Plus. So I'm using 2 strands of cotton. So this particular one is, stained glass windows can be nice to stitch when you're doing a Zoom type stitchy afternoon, because the window is a block. It doesn't have the shading of my stained glass window. That is the owl. And I just want to say thank you to all of you who have just been so supportive of my owl and commented on how beautiful you thought it is. Thank you very much. And I also have one more start because I finished something yesterday. And this one is a Satsuma Street. And I've got to get the orientation right. Here it is. There we go. I had to stop and go, how does this work? So this is going to be a joy. So this is the bottom part of the J. And this is a very colorful piece. Jody of Satsuma Street has a way that's very distinctively her for colors that are vibrant and not completely traditional, but they work beautifully. So I'm looking forward to adding more here. And this is a 32 count opalescent fabric from Hand Dyed by Rolanda. And now for my moment of gratitude. Today I am thankful for something that you might go, what? I'm thankful for transportation. We have so many options available to us. I grew up with my mother's mother living with us, and on our Sunday evenings where everybody else was busy and I was the youngest by a number of years, so I was with my grandmother as other people went to church and things. I heard stories, and my grandmother was born in 1899, so she of course was used to originally getting around in a horse and carriage, and gradually that changed to a car. We have trains, And these days, the world has been made so much smaller by how easy it is to hop on a plane. So even though many people have their children spread throughout the world, it is still possible to get together because of the transportation options that are available to us. And today, for my moment for music, I have a fairly basic rendition of a piece that is in many hymn books now, but is a more newly composed piece, meaning that it is of the last 100 years. Many of the Christmas carols are 200 and 300 years old, and in the case of What Child Is This?, it is so old we don't even know who the composer was. So I hope that you will enjoy my playing of this particular piece, and that you will name that tune in the comments below. And here we are ready to close another floss tube. Floss tube 18 is finished and we're headed on. I want to thank each of you for finding the time, because time is something that we are so short of. I know that in order to watch me, you are having to carve out time to do it. Thank you. And I thank those of you who have a moment to comment. I hope you will all press like, because it does help the algorithms of YouTube. So until tomorrow, bye-bye for now.